The Jason universe is being announced, and this is a big deal to me. Okay, I'm a huge horror movie fan. I'm a huge Jason fan. Okay, so I want to talk about this. The Friday the 13th franchise is an interesting one because Jason wasn't the prominent character in the very beginning of the franchise. Okay, so the Friday the 13th as a franchise is kind of like in two pieces. There's Friday the 13th with Jason and Pamela at Camp Crystal Lake. Then the second one comes out and it has a new distribution rights and new legal things going on with it. And that's where you start to get Jason Voorhees as a killer. And then you get the hockey mask and you get all the lore around Jason. We've got two pieces and they don't fit. So what we have right now is a mess, okay, of a franchise. And I'm looking forward to this mess. We have the Friday the 13th TV show that's being filmed right now on, I think, Peacock. And that's going to be coming out, I think, next year. Okay, so that's Friday the 13th with Pamela Voorhees, Jason as a kid, no hockey mask, just Friday the 13th, Pamela Voorhees, Jason drowned, and it's at Camp Crystal Lake. Okay, that's that. Then we have this over here, which is the Jason universe. So this is everything about Friday the 13th, but without Friday the 13th, because the legal rights are different. So we have the hockey mask, we have Jason Voorhees, we have all that kind of stuff. Okay. And this is what I want to kind of focus on now, because this is, there's a short film that's already made. It's going to be released this month on the 13th of this month. And it's called Sweet Revenge. I don't know if it's just like a code name for the movie or if it's actually Sweet Revenge, but I think Sweet Revenge is a pretty good title because ever since the first movie, it's always been about revenge. Jason Voorhees drowned, so his mother comes back to take revenge on all the counselors. Then she's killed, and then Jason comes back to take his revenge on all the counselors. So I think the Sweet Revenge is actually a pretty good title for this. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to seeing Jason on the screen again. Okay, it's been too long. And there's also a video game that got announced. I don't know if the video game's coming out next year in 2026 or the following year. I just know that there's a video game in production, and who knows, it could all just crumble away and nothing will happen. I'm excited for it in the meantime. There's a new movie, maybe coming out in 2026, maybe coming out in 2027. I don't know when. I don't know how similar it's going to be to the Sweet Revenge movie that's coming out, the short movie. If this is like a piece of that that's going to be expanded upon, or is this just kind of like a prologue to the movie? Or is it even in the same realm? I don't know. I don't know if it's even going to follow the same story. There's comic books that could potentially be made from this. Basically, a lot of things in the Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees world couldn't get made because of these rights issues. And now the rights issues are finally starting to get sorted out. And even though it's a big mess, you have Friday the 13th over here and you have Jason Voorhees over there. At least something is sorted out and people are making stuff. So for a Friday the 13th fan, for a Jason Voorhees fan, that's a very exciting time. They could mess it up. It could totally blow up in everybody's face and it could be awful. Okay. It could be. All right. But it can also be, worth watching. So I'm definitely interested in following along for the journey. And even if it's kind of messy at first, as long as they keep going with it, hopefully it gets better. Because, Friday the 13th famously isn't a great franchise at the start. The first couple of movies are kind of weird, wacko movies. It takes them till like 3 or 4 to really get going. So I'm willing to give them, the benefit of the doubt for a while, and we'll see how this goes. There's been a lot of controversy about the mask too, and whatever. It's a hockey mask. It looks like Jason to me. It looks fine. So I'm not really worried about it. In the right lighting, even a terrible mask can look good. So we'll see in some of the dingy, dark, atmospheric, foggy, misty woods how that mask really looks on his face. Some things that do worry me about this is that the whole look of Jason here is very AI. It doesn't look like a proper artist's rendition. It's an 80s franchise. It needs some 80s flair, how the box art of a lot of horror movies back in the 80s were hand painted and they look they're very stylistic. They're very deep and rich with color, and they're very vibrant. This to me just looks kind of bland and drab and very, like I said, AI, very just stock image. So that's a little alarming, but you know, again, I'm willing to extend an olive branch. I'm willing to just roll with it to see where they go with it before I really start to naysay it. In the meantime, though, I got to tell you, in my tummy, that excitement really is starting to flare up. So also in the universe logo, you can see universe, I is a 1 and the E is a 3. So you see 13 in there. So they're definitely trying to hint a little bit at there being something that has to do with 13. So even though they can't flat out say Friday the 13th, they're going to have a little 13 in there. So over here, I do have the box arts to Friday the 13th Part 1 and Friday the 13th Part 2. So Friday the 13th Part 1, that's the one with Pamela Voorhees. She's the killer, and she uses, as you can see here, she has a knife. And in Friday the 13th Part 2, that's supposed to be Jason, and he's using an axe. So I'm using that comment as a segue to talk about, I'll be right back. I want to show you something cool that I got. It's a collectible, but they have certain rarities for different things that you can get. So this is the basic one, okay? That's the basic one. Notice he's holding an axe, okay? Which is what he's holding over here. So I love that attention to detail already, okay? As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, there we go. He's holding the axe. So that's the main thing right there. He's holding an axe. But if you look at the variant, there's a 1/6 chance to get the variant, which is right there. So he's holding, in the variant, he's holding a machete. Now the machete, of course, is the more typical thing that Jason uses. But in the in number 2, according to the box art, right, he has the axe. So I like the actual default because he's holding an axe, just like he's holding an axe here. I like the default, okay? But the variant is what he's typically uses. So I think to, you know, an average person, they see the machete, they think, oh yeah, that's Jason, right? Also, what's cool about the machete is it's got blood on it. The machete has blood and the axe does not. So I'm going to open this here with you guys today. Let's see what I get. So this has, look at this, has a little zipper on it too. It's cute. A little zipper. So I'm going to take this tab. I'm going to pull it down. See what I get, guys. Let's see if I get the variant. Let's see if I get, you can't even tell, but you can see it again here. So there it is. There's the options. There's the options. And I made a mistake. I didn't know how the box would open. So unfortunately, I already saw it. But if you turn it around, it's actually kind of nice, huh, with the sparkles on there. I got the original. So he's holding the axe. Very cool. Even though I didn't get the variant, I'm still happy with it because he's holding an axe just like he is in the original introduction of Jason Voorhees. Even though in the original, in number 2, he doesn't even have the hockey mask. You know what? That actually came out of there really easily. That actually came out of here really easily. I wonder if I go back there and I just kind of pop that up like that and take a little peek. I wonder if I could see. I wonder if I could look. No, I don't want to be that guy.
Too bad about Kenny, huh? Life in the big city.